Hey there, everybody. This is Alexis Ward with 12 Faces Psychology. If this is your first time here, then I hope that you will subscribe and hit the bell in order to be alerted when my videos come out. Okay, so today I wanted to go through 10, and actually it was a lot easier to come up with 10 than I thought it would be. So 10 gifts that COVID-19 has brought to us on an emotional and spiritual and developmental level. I kind of thought it would be difficult to come up with them, but I really could have gone on substantially further than 10. So I hope that this, if nothing else, encourages you all to contemplate the value in this time period and what you personally can take out of it and want to keep from this weird space that we have been in. All right, so number 1 of the 10, it's a fucking wake-up call. Man, what a big wake-up call. That the world can change on a dime like this is a huge wake-up call. And we're all kind of going, whoa, where are we headed? What we doing? What's going on? Before, we were pretty much just marching towards an inevitable conclusion. But now we have some choice about that because this has been a huge wake-up call. So yay for that. Number 2, the disintegration of failing systems. I think we can pretty much all agree that it wasn't really working how it was going. Inequality is rampant. The monetary system is like a plague. Debt slavery is something that is a life-ruining obstacle for all of us on the planet. We are all working in a system where we are forced to attribute the great majority of our lives and our will and our energy to make money in order to survive. That is a huge impediment to the spiritual and developmental progression of the human race. So, all these systems, the government, finances, healthcare, education, whatever it is, everything is being called into question now, and everything is kind of disintegrating. Now, what falls apart can be put back together. So that's the positive in all of this. That might sort of be like, wait, I thought you were listing gifts, and that doesn't sound like a gift. But really it is, because it's going to allow for more positive things to be rebuilt, assuming that that's the direction that we all go. So put your energy towards that. Put your vision towards the world that you want to see, because things are breaking down. There's no doubt about that, but they weren't working anyway. So let's create something that works better for everybody, shall we? All right. Number 3 is reprioritization. So I think we all have been kind of lost for a while. Lost in trying to buy shit, trying to do a bunch of stuff, trying to look a certain way, trying to have as many friends, as much following as possible, doing. And a lot of times doing things that really don't serve the priorities that are anchored in our heart, our real priorities, the things we truly value. And this time period has really kind of ripped us out of that autopilot and allowed us to question, what's actually important to me? Am I working at a job that I hate to make $500,000 a year, to live in this big fucking house that I gotta clean all the time and pay all kinds of money for upkeep? And really, where am I? Who am I in the midst of all of that? Is that really what I want? Or might I be happier living simply and doing something that I'm passionate about and that I truly enjoy? So we've all had the opportunity to ask ourselves these questions, and hopefully we'll continue to. Reprioritize. Bring it back to what really makes your heart sing. That's one of the opportunities and the gifts of this time. All right, number 4, a realignment of relationships. Kind of like the system's breaking down, right? Divorce has never been higher. There's a lot of challenging things coming up in relationships right now. And now, obviously, I don't in any way want to say like, yay, you're getting divorced, or like, yay, there's more domestic violence. Of course not. Those are horrible symptoms of things becoming so tense and escalated between people and in the world that they go to a level of actual violence. So if you're in a dangerous situation, please seek out help. Please work on removing yourself from that situation. There are a lot of channels of help available and open right now that weren't necessarily open before. So I hope that you will take this opportunity to get yourself out of a toxic situation if you're in one. And that's sort of the positivity to this right now, isn't it? If your relationship is no longer serving you, you're probably starting to see that right about now. If there are things and areas where you are vastly incompatible with a partner, with a friend, with family members, you might be feeling it a whole lot more at this point in time. And that's okay. I know that the transitioning and loss of relationships brings a lot of grief up for people. And there's a lot of feelers to feel in there. So that's great. That's all part of the process. But know from a positive perspective that you are realigning your life right now as we make these changes in the direction of what now? What do we want to see? What do we want to do? You are making changes of that kind in the relationship department. And if you really focus on the reprioritization, if you really think about what you value, what your core principles and beliefs are, and what matters to you most in connecting with other people, you have the opportunity to realign your relationships in a much more authentic and integrity-oriented way. So that's a very positive thing. All right, number 5, the forced questioning of reality. This has really forced us all to kind of take a step back and say, what the hell is going on here? Who's in control of these things? Can people just tell us we have to stay in our houses? Like, is that okay? What's going on? What's happening here? And how do we use the information that we're getting from various sources to build an understanding of what reality is? So a lot of questioning of the underpinning of things, a lot of looking at the underbelly of society and saying, how can we change this? So I've done several other videos about sort of cognitive distortions and biases and critical thinking. So if that particular piece of questioning reality interests you, please go look at those. All right, now number 6 is the surfacing and releasing of personal and collective trauma. There is so much coming to the surface right now. You can just be walking along having like a sort of mellow day, and then all of a sudden a wave of grief, of sadness, of awareness of the uncertainty of everything, of awareness of just the human pain and sorrow that is so saturated right now can just hit you. So this can really bring random old memories to the surface, old unhealed wounds, pain in relationships. All sorts of things can be personally coming to the surface as these things are coming to surface in the collective. I know that people look around the world right now and a lot of times they're thinking to themselves, everything is just falling apart. But when things are toxic to begin with, they have to fall apart to come back together in a healthier way. So this time period is the most intensive surfacing and healing of collective trauma that we have ever seen. Now, we may not be able to quite see the healing part coming in yet, but it's there. It is definitely there. And that I'm kind of going to touch on in number 8 of the healing that we're seeing. But let's go to number 7 first, which is shifting from doing to being. We are always doing, especially here in the US. Our culture is very oriented towards, you wake up, you have breakfast, you go to the gym, you go to work, you come home, you take your kids out to dinner, you are just going. Most of us are doing all the time. And then even when we're relaxing, we're talking about what we're going to do next. We're planning our next vacation. We are in a constant state of activity. And what does that not leave room for? Silence. For being, for just absorbing in a relaxed state. Meditation, just sitting still. These things are so undervalued culturally. And this time period has really given us the gift and kind of like forced us to sit down and shut up and sit for a minute, see how that feels. Take that in. So, number 8, as I was talking about a minute ago, the healing part of this, if you haven't been noticing, because they may not be getting much coverage these days, there are incredible acts, random acts of kindness and courage going on all around us. All around us. Little things, if you start to open your eyes to them, all of a sudden, you just see yourself connecting with strangers in a new and very special way. Not that there aren't negative interactions too. I understand that those things are sort of the polarizing forces. They're going on in tandem. But please try to open your eyes to all the kindness and courage that is being made available in this time period. And also call that forth in yourself. This is a great time to really look at what you feel is important, what you feel called to do in the world, and ways that you can really open your heart. It's a time when we are really being stripped of a lot of our humanity and our human ways of connecting with one another, being forced to wear masks that cover all of our expression, being forced to stay in our homes. We're really being stripped of a lot of our humanity in that regard. And so random acts of kindness are an act of rebellion and courage. And I encourage all of you to do those types of things. I'm not in any way encouraging violence or anything like that or anything illegal, but smiling at someone when you can tell that they're in a state of overwhelm, going and helping a neighbor because you can see that they're having a struggle. These types of things are courageous, and they're starting to build the new world piece by piece that we want to see. All right, so number 9 is a call to action. This has really been a serious kick in the butt for all of us. It's really been a moment for all of us to say, what can I do? What can I do to transform this world into the vision that I want it to be? Where in my life can I make changes? And now is a great time to take action on that, right? What internal cleansing do you need to do? What ways can you show up more authentically, more in your own integrity, in your relationships, in every aspect of your life? What can you do? The universe is calling you to take that action now, to clean it up, to start offering the highest version of yourself to this lifetime. All right, now number 10 is death is also birth. Right now we are in the death throes of something, and we can't see what's coming next. So that's why we need to vision that. That's why we need to be the ones shaping and inviting and envisioning the future that we want to see. And that also, like number 9 said, needs to have action behind it. So being the way you want relationships to be in your own life, doing the things in your day-to-day to take care of yourself, to honor your emotions, to move through things in a peaceful, harmonious way, creates a ripple effect and sends out a frequency into the world that helps to shift our brain waves, it helps to shift our thinking, it helps to shift the collective consciousness. So utilize that power that we all have and notice what you want to be born. Notice what's dying, honor that, grieve that, do what you need to do. And then start looking at what is being born and what you want to be born into this new world as we transform. All right, so I know that there's a lot of difficult things going on out there right now. But I hope that taking this few minutes to just contemplate the gifts that we are offered in this time period helps you to also shift the framework of how you're utilizing and experiencing what's going on. You got to drop into those difficult emotions when they come up for you, because there's a purging of a lot of toxicity that's going on. So let that run through you, feel it and forget it, and then start looking at what you want next. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you will come back and watch me again. Subscribe and hit the bell if you want to be alerted when my next video comes out. Bye-bye.